In one of my previous videos, I quoted the scholar Ibn Khaldun and how he talked about what makes Arabic superior and unique. And he mentioned that the majority of meanings in Arabic, they don't come from words. And he said that the thing that makes Arabic unique is the fact that what in other languages requires separate words to communicate, Arabic does it through vowels. And it does it through patterns and grammatical structures. My goal behind that quote wasn't to suggest to an audience in 2025, for example, that Ibn Khaldun is saying that you need to study grammar first. So the approach is something that actually I came up with, not Ibn Khaldun. So Ibn Khaldun was quoted in order to show the efficiency of the language, but what do we do with that efficiency? It's impressive, but what do we do with it? How do we leverage it? So I had an idea. More than 20 years ago, I had an idea, and I said that this is something that's unique. This is something that's noteworthy. It's remarkable. So how can we use this to our advantage? So the fact that we're English-speaking people and we have a good understanding of our own native language, and there's things that our language has that Arabic doesn't have, and there's things that Arabic has that our language doesn't have. So let's go ahead and let's leverage our knowledge of English, and let's explain to the people that English has sequence. So when you have a verb and nouns, then it's not particularly difficult to figure out which of the nouns is the one doing the verb and which of the nouns is the one upon whom the verb is being done, because you say Zayd hit Amr. So the hit comes in between, Zayd is at the front, Amr is at the end, so you know who did it and who, SVO. It's like sequence determines grammar. In Arabic, there's no sequence. Sequence does not determine grammar. So if you have a verb and two nouns, you can literally arrange that in numerous different ways. So how do you know which of the nouns is the one doing the verb, which of the nouns is the one upon whom the verb is being done? So this is an issue that needs to be resolved. So how does Arabic resolve this? It's by establishing grammatical states and assigning to the nouns case endings. So when you see the particular ending, you know that this noun is the one doing the verb. And when you see the other ending, you know that this noun is the one on whom the verb is being done. So that's one issue. Okay, and it makes sense when you contrast and when you compare Arabic with English and you see English does it like this. Arabic doesn't have sequence, so how does it do it? It can't do it like that, so it has another method. And some languages do it through extra words. Like in Urdu, it says Zayd ne amar ko mara. So there's an extra word ne, there's an extra word ko. Arabic doesn't have extra words. So how does it do it? It does it through this grammatical states process. And it's done by assigning to the nouns these endings, these case endings. And it's a whole mechanism. It's a whole mechanism that differentiates between the roles of the noun. On the other hand, we have words connecting together and functioning as a single unit. This is important. There's an inventory of 12 to 16 ways that words can connect together and create what we call phrase level relationships. So when you know that, then this helps you. How does it help you? Because in sentences, there's no is. Arabic doesn't have an is, the verb to be. So if you have a long sentence, then you need to be able to figure out from where to where is the subject, where to where is the predicate. So these are core issues. When Ibn Khaldun made that statement, he was alluding to these things. But he didn't say teach these things first. He didn't say that. You see? So we had to come up with the hypothesis. Like, for example, is it possible to get people cold off the street and give them this information to the point that not only do they get it, but they find it fascinating and it motivates them to keep going? And then if we start a book in the third week, will that even work? Or would people just collapse out of frustration and collapse out of overwhelm? So we've tested it, okay? So this is how our method came into being. Now, on the other hand, we have some people that say don't teach grammar. And they say that when you're considering a program, then you need to understand that the Salaf, and they talk about the predecessors and they quote a scholar here or there, they're cherry picking. They're quoting a scholar and they're saying this scholar says that the nouns and the adjectives, to memorize what they are, is the first thing that you should start with. It's a misquote. Okay, that's not what he said. He's saying the actual opposite. So in the description of this video below, I'll actually quote you al-Ṣāḥibī and what he said exactly so you can compare and see what he's saying. But the point is that when you don't have a method and you're not particularly good at explaining these complex topics in a way that makes sense, then there's a tendency to occupy the student in busy work and get them memorizing. So then when eventually a time arrives where grammar has to be taught, then the teacher is able to paraphrase. So they're not really explaining, but they're paraphrasing. They're taking the Arabic and saying it back to the student in other Arabic. And it doesn't really explain why that rule is important, or why I need it, or how it will ever contribute to a better understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah. So if you're considering signing up for a program, an Arabic program, then my strong recommendation to you would be to see whether the grammar topics are being framed as solutions to comprehension issues. Only then are you being taught how the language works. So what you need in a class is not someone to encourage you to memorize. What you need in a class is someone to explain to you how the language works. So if you like this approach, and if you want to understand how the language works, you don't even have to sign up for the program, because I've done it all here on YouTube for free. It's a 3-hour workshop, and you can get that by watching this video here.